I'm on at the door, John, now I'm here to stay. Tell me who the fuck gonna face the music. More brick laying, that screen time. Been cutting back on the daily usage. Long road for the road dogs, for the weird miles from a soapbox. Got BKTs on this bitch, so everybody getting rolled on, yeah. Yeah, everybody getting rolled on. Check all the credits on BMI. I'm just too kind to expose y'all. And I see a team with a ghost sign and question if y'all ever wrote songs. All enemies of mine a band study, please don't.
Hey folks, how's it going? Hope everybody's having a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a wonderful week. It is Sunday evening. What is it, Jasmine? The 18th, the 19th? I think it's the 18th. 12:18, Sunday evening, 7:04 p.m. Eastern, 4:04 p.m. Pacific. And we're back here again. There's Renee. With some snaffle and crack audio sounds popping on. That's okay.
I was live.
You're good. So we're back to continue and further down the road this MCU Phase 5 and Phase 6 preview. We're going to be specifically covering Phase 6 today. I've got with me returning Jasmine. It's good to see you, Jasmine.
Good to see you too.
And of course, Renee, Lokismom from the Podcast of Champions, is back. What's up, Renee?
Doing really good. Feeling
You
better.
doing good?
Feeling better. I've been under the weather for a couple weeks, but I'm getting better now.
Well, that's good to hear. Most definitely. And we got Alain coming on here for the second half of the show when we get into Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Renee and Jasmine and I are going to go ahead and cover What If Season 2 and the Echo Disney Plus series. To start things off, we're going to try to be pretty concise on this one and, not get, down too many rabbit holes. But basically, we'll have to see. We may have Lord Deathman from the Podcast of Champions and possibly Mark Rutledge popping on here as well, but you never know with these guys. They'll either be here or they won't. But basically, I guess to start things off, as a premise, I'll just go around and ask right now, starting with you, Jasmine, and then going with you, Renee, before I actually dive into fleshing out any official information and whatnot and everything having to do with the Echo Disney Plus series, based off of, I guess, maybe, what you know background-wise from the comics, and then what we got from Hawkeye, Jasmine, what are your thoughts, of this Echo Disney Plus series going into it?
I think it's going to be great. I think they've pretty much set up a good comic book accurate story plot, especially with the cliffhanger they left after Hawkeye. I'm actually pretty excited to see where they're going with it.
Okay. Renee?
I'm not familiar with Echo at all. I mean, there again, it's one of those unknown characters to me. But what I could get from the Hawkeye series, she's definitely a part of Kingpin's world and Daredevil and all that. So I think we're talking about, will they be tying in any of these series? Like they sort of did with the Netflix Marvel series, where the characters kind of blended in, it was all continuity with each other. So I'm thinking if they're going to do maybe with Daredevil, so that there's elements of both series in each one. So I'm not really I've been sort of disappointed that Marvel is not doing more of that, doing more sophisticated, I think, interplay with the characters. But anyway, I'm not going to condemn anything before I see it or anything like that. So, I'm very open-minded to it.
Yeah, and I am too. I don't think that let's be honest here. We reviewed Jasmine. Unfortunately, you were not a part of it, but Renee was instrumental in us reviewing the Hawkeye Disney Plus series. And I think we all pretty much were in agreement that we weren't all that happy with Echo in terms of like the way that they handled her character, maybe in the series. At least that's the perspective I took from the panels during the series. I do think that they have an opportunity to be very comic book accurate with this character if they want to be, if they decide
Have
to go
you
in that
read the
direction.
comic?
I've read some of the stuff, that some of the crossover stuff and whatnot and everything that she did. But
not her actual comic book.
No.
Story.
In my due diligence before the series comes out, believe me, I will actually read her comic. I do have, what is it, Marvel Unlimited? There's a little plug out there for, what is it? I think it's Marvel Unlimited, which is the actual like digital,
Yeah, I have it.
You have it too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good resource. It really is, actually. And I would definitely, tell anybody out there that's in the fandom and whatnot to consider like grabbing it. It's actually not. It's pretty inexpensive.
Not really.
Well, well, how about, what is it, like $15 a month, Jazz?
That's cheap.
Yeah, it's not that. That's what I said. It's pretty inexpensive. Yeah.
Inexpensive. I thought you said expensive. I was like, ooh.
No, inexpensive. No, so basically, Maya Lopez, from Marvel Comics, obviously, is a fictional character, is Native American and Latina. She was essentially raised by her father, as they, displayed in the Hawkeye series, who's like, I guess, nickname was Crazy Horse, and he's a Cheyenne Native American from the Cheyenne Nation. And basically, she's a deaf character. In school, they thought that she was, learning challenged, but it turned out that she was actually deaf. And she actually has, I guess what you would almost call a superpower or an ability similar to, I guess, what you would call, Taskmaster, which is she has, photographic or photogenic reflex abilities, and she can watch videotape like Taskmaster of people fighting, and through that she can copy the use of weapons, and she can also copy the use of fighting styles and whatnot and everything, and translate herself, be able to use those fighting styles and whatnot through that photo genic or photographic reflex ability.
Mm-hmm.
They did not really demonstrate much of that in Hawkeye. They didn't really get into that, but I'm assuming they will.
Yeah, they did.
A little bit, yes.
When she's watching the cameras, and like when you first
Mhm.
introduced to her, she's looking at cameras of people fighting, and then she goes out there.
Yeah, you're right.
I think what they didn't add in, and just bouncing off what you just told me, Jeff, I think the Native American spirituality part of her abilities and her mystic arts, could have been brought out more. So I find that very interesting, because she was mostly in an urban setting, working with these what were they, Russians? The Russian
those are Kingpin's people. Those are Kingpins.
Right, but she was working with. I mean, she's in with that. I mean, she's in Kingpin.
Yeah.
World. What I'm saying, she's in that.
They were Russians. Yeah,
world.
you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
they will get into that with her show. I don't think they were going to do that with her introduction on someone else's show.
Okay. Well, yeah,
especially when she's just getting into, coming into herself when she discovers that, Pinhead, her Kingpin was the cause of her daddy's death.
Well, yes,
that aspect does interest me right there. So yeah, so now I'm already, you've bumped me up a little bit there.
Oh, the Native American aspect of it. Yeah, I think that is interesting.
Yeah, very much so. Because I'm into all that.
And she actually does represent multiple firsts, if you care about this stuff. Mm-hmm. In that she would be the first Native American. She's the first Native American character in the MCU, right? That we've gotten, right? Not in the comics. She isn't the first, but she's the first one in the MCU. She's the first mixed Native American and Latina character that we've had, right? And then at the same time, she's also our first deaf character. So she's not, disabled necessarily, right? But she does represent the deaf community.
Well, she's also an amputee, isn't she?
She's an amputee as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. And now, of course, in the comics, she's raised by her father, You know, she's raised by Crazy Horse. You know, and essentially, he works with the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. He, you know, he's a gangster, and basically, long story short, as Jasmine like already alluded to, you know, Maya's, you know, gangster father, you know, through his relationship with Kingpin, ends up getting killed by the Kingpin. And essentially, if I remember correctly from the comics, I believe that Crazy Horse actually tells Kingpin that it's almost like his duty to raise her. And so basically, Fisk becomes her guardian at age 9. You know, partially due to a feeling of duty and responsibility, but also partially because he sees her potential with her talents. And he has her trained in different fighting styles as well as the performance arts, and also manipulates her, and essentially over the years blames Daredevil for the killing of her father. Am I correct, Jasmine?
Your mic's off.
What'd you say?
I said, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So at that point, what that basically, long story short, where that leads us in the comics would be, you know, essentially we end up having the Kingpin sending her out to, you know, to basically to take out Daredevil.
No,
And
Kingpin and her are no longer together.
no,
She
not
shot him.
now. Not now.
She
I'm talking
shot him
about
and blinded him. They're not going to ever be.
oh, wait. I'm talking about her origin story before that. Before
Oh,
she shoots Kingpin.
they kind of changed the origin story of her throughout the episode of, you know, the season of Hawkeye. So you pretty much got her origin story and her working for Kingpin, which was her working with the Russians, and then after that, basically she found out that about the daddy thing, and then that's the end of their relationship.
Yes, I am explaining her comic book origin, Jasmine, just to be clear. That's what I'm doing. So just to be clear, that's all I'm doing. I'm just explaining the basis of her comic book origin. Now, from a history standpoint, from the comic books, this character Echo was created in 1999 and by writer David Mack and artist Joe Quesada, who I'm very familiar with from my days of, you know, being a comic book collector. And she first appeared as Ronin in the New Avengers number 11 in November 2005, which was created by writer Brian Michael Bendis and artist David Finch. And so basically, alluding to what Jasmine just mentioned, essentially, long story short, to flush out her story, she does try to tackle Daredevil and kill Daredevil, realizes that that's Matt Murdock, who she's fallen in love with, and become intertwined with, you know, romantically. And at that point, she kind of like, you know, turns against the Kingpin, ends up shooting him in the face and blinding him. And I'll leave it at that. Now, she throughout the comics, she ends up even doing things like having the Phoenix powers in her, like Jean Grey from the X-Men. She actually has that going on at one point, but I don't see them in the MCU flushing any of that stuff out. She also has a role in Battle World, in Secret Wars and whatnot and everything. So she does appear in that with the New Avengers. But as far as the series itself goes, now Echo, essentially from what we're officially being told as of right now, is slated to come out in December of 2023. Worst case scenario into 2024. They pushed off the release date. They're going to be doing reshoots. And I've heard from multiple other creators and from rumors online that this was not tested well already. Whatever they've already produced and whatnot for the series did not test well. Okay. So, you know, you can think what you want of that, Jazz, you know, Renee. I mean, that's the whole deal with the Flashpoint film, is how badly it tested is part of the reason why, you know, or no, I'm sorry, the Batgirl film that they ended up killing and whatnot and swallowed, you know, the whole budget on was all based off basically the fact that it did so badly with this testing.
They were killing that way before because of they're broke. That had actually nothing to do with their test screening. That was a red herring to distract the fact that they were going to do that anyway because they're broke. They've been spending $5 billion over TV shows and movies and not getting that revenue back. So they've been broke. So they just didn't even let that come out, and they're letting Ezra Miller's Flash come out, like with all that bad press. Like, come on, you know fairly well they were never going to let that movie out.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow. That sounds
Well,
like a
either
scoop. That sounds like a scoop.
well, yeah, I mean, we still don't know. We still don't know for sure whether they're going to release that Flash, the Flash film.
They're
I'll be honest with you.
releasing that Flash. There's no way, because of how much money they put into it. They're like, there's no way we're not doing that. And
No,
trust
you'd
me,
hope
if they were going to
you'd hope
cancel it,
not.
they would have not backed Ezra Miller as hard as they've been backing him. And
Well, I don't even.
I mean them.
I don't want to.
And they
I don't want to get
still
into.
keep doing stuff. But
I
like,
don't want
I'm
to.
just saying, Warner
No,
Brothers
but I
is not.
don't.
They're gonna let that go through.
Jazz, I don't want to go. I don't want to get into the whole all of Ezra Miller's antics. I think that some of the backlash against him and whatnot is not warranted. People make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's unfortunate that people are piling on him. I want to see the film.
You should really do some research on that, because there's a lot of really messed up stuff that Ezra did.
Well, yeah, we're not talking about.
But anyway, let's go off of the fact that, yeah, I think that movie's still going to come out. But when it comes to the Batgirl movie, that was more due to them needing more money.
Okay.
They're doing it as a tax write-off.
Yes, I understand that. There was tax implications and whatnot when they did that. Yes. Now, basically, as far as the Echo series goes, like I said, it's slated as of right now, and this stuff is all, of course, in flux right now. And I think it's important that we bring this up. And I want to go around and ask you, Renee, and then ask you, Jasmine. Obviously, we're all aware right now of the fact that Bob Iger's back in action. Apparently, him and Kevin Feige have talked it up, whatnot, and everything, and come to the realization that they need to slow down. Right? That's the clear indication, is that basically what we can expect is what we already know, concrete, like the Ant-Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to occur, but they're going to slow down. If anything, they're going to start slowing down production on some of these series and whatnot, though, that are kind of like TBA right now, like stuff like Armor Wars. Like, don't expect a rush on Armor Wars, for instance. Who the hell knows when we might see that? Or Secret Invasion, for instance. They're basically, from whatever, I think everyone's aware of the fact that right now that they even Iger feels like they've oversaturated the market with all the Disney Plus series and whatnot and everything and all the films. They want to slow down and scale back. So, Renee, what do you think about that whole deal? The fact that Disney is coming to the realization, for one thing, that the whole get woke, go broke thing seems to be afflicting them. And then on top of that, what do you think of the fact that there seems to be a decision that they're going to start to slow down with the amount of releases they're doing per year?
Well, I don't think they go woke. I think they're there again. I think that's MacGuffin. I think there's far more to that than a bunch of liberals in some university or whatever, telling whatever, mind melding with. I'm not even going to go into that. I think it's all money. It's just like what Jasmine was talking about as far as DC. I mean, it's bottom line. It's always going to be the dollar. Yeah, and when you talk about it testing, having issues not testing well, I think we're getting into this. They're overthinking these things. They're starting to overthink it. It's like what does it different if you're going to a test and it's not testing well, and then they go rejigger it, and the next thing you know, they've got this film cut up in all different ways, and then we wind up with a mess like Thor 4. They need to get away from that. They need to get back to crafting. They're mass producing movies right now. They're not crafting movies. When they began back in Iron Man, they were really putting blood, sweat, and tears and love into those stories. They molded them. They found the right actors to do it. They understood that to really have a great character, you're going to have to find an actor who can define the character. You cannot let the character define the actor. I mean, it's just not going to work. I think we go to this young lady playing Echo, and she did a good job. I mean, she did a fine job.
Alec Cox.
Yes, she did a fine job in Hawkeye. But frankly, there wasn't anything other than her amazing that she's deaf and she's has a amputee. She works with a prosthetic, and she's quite adept at it and very. I mean, really, she was not really much of an actress. I mean, she's, you know, you have to bring in people who can bring these characters to life, that can really knows how to put their soul into it, and can let that soul come through that screen and into our hearts and into the audience and into our homes. That's what they originally had. I think Stan Lee understood all this. I think Kevin Feige understands it. Disney does not, because bless his heart, Walt Disney understood that, but Walt Disney is long gone. So it's been a production assembly lines, I think, for the last few years. If they can just get away from that whole model, forget about trying to diverse, you know, okay, we have to have this character must be this character must be that, this character, you know, so that we have it all balanced. Just forget about that, you know, just let the characters organically come into it. You know, you let the casting agents do their job. It doesn't matter if the race is, if the actor is right. They're going to make that. With Idris Elba, my goodness, he's supposed to be a white god, but of course, in this story, Idris Elba made that character work. So I think that's where they need to get back to. And I'm going to get off my soapbox right now. I need to step away from the scene for just a little bit, Jeff, but I'll be right back. So you guys keep on talking.
Okay. Jazz, your thoughts on the whole Iger thing and the direction right now, and of Marvel Studios and them possibly slowing down with these productions?
They're slowing down not because it's oversaturated. None of that is true. They're doing quality over quantity, and they've already stated that they're stopping because they're getting more rights to characters, and they're revamping the lineup because they're trying to figure out where everything fits so that the story is straightforward and makes sense. That's the only reason they're doing what they're doing. And I really hate when people say woke or go broke, because you guys are taking the word and changing it to make it sound like it's something bad when it was never what it meant to begin with.
Wait a minute. When did the word woke? Do you mean like the actual definition of the term woke itself?
Well, the definition of woke, of which
is to wake up or whatever, like wake up, woke.
Woke that was used progressively from Black people has been turned in this thing where people say go woke, go broke, or use in political standpoints to sound worse than it's supposed to. It's not what it means. But anyway.
Well, it's attached. It's heavily attached now to things like the progressive liberal Hollywood like angle and whatnot and everything. Like
what you guys have turned it into, and that's not what it means.
Wait a minute. Who's you? Don't you guys be now, Jazz? We know we don't do that here on the Bleeding Edge.
What I'm referring to is I'm referring to the more Republican side of things. They go that route. That's what I mean, you guys. They have changed the word and made it sound like that, because liberal this, liberal that is really not how Hollywood works.
No, it is how it works. Jasmine, everyone knows that. Liberals have run Hollywood since the beginning of Hollywood.
No. Hollywood.
That's how it's always worked. Jasmine, you got to learn history on it. Liberalism has been.
You don't know history.
Progressivism has been a major part of the film industry since the jump.
If liberals ran Hollywood, we wouldn't have blackface in the industry.
You don't know that actors and actresses can't even put out there that they are conservative openly in Hollywood, or they won't work. You don't know that.
Anyway,
that's a good thing.
Yes, Hollywood. If you are to the point of
if you're on the left, then you can't be in Hollywood. Essentially, people have to lie about their own politics in order to be able to work there. You understand that, right?
I'll run around and do what I want.
And
how is that positive?
Why is you being a Republican such a PowerPoint that you need to discuss it in Hollywood? It's not one of those things. And I'm referring to the fact that it shouldn't matter what your political standpoint is. If you're in Hollywood, you shouldn't bring it up, because if you can still stand with what's going on in the Republican campaign right now, you got some issues. But anyway, let's get back on point. What I'm referring to is Disney is doing quality over quantity. There's so much stuff that they're getting property to, and they're trying to revamp it. And they're not worried about whether or not they're the right race or actor or any of that. A lot of that has to do with they're trying to deal with the fan base because the fan base keeps complaining about the fact that characters are being race swapped or
Go on top of the roof.
race swapped or something, and they are getting to the point where they're bombing, view bombing stuff before it even comes out. They did the same thing to Thor. They did the same thing to Batgirl. They do the same thing to Eternals. They do stuff before it comes out. Phase 4 was basically them doing something different, trying something out to see if it would work. And Phase 4 has some hits, it has some misses. But overall, each project had its own unique thing that made somebody like it. I enjoyed Phase 4 because it finally gave us the grief recovery everybody needed. Not everybody likes it, but hey. That made Phase 4 because it finally gave us
Sorry
the
about that.
grief recovery everybody
If I
needed.
could, if I could get this to shut off.
Finally gave us.
There we go. Sorry about that, Jazz. That was you on Facebook. No. So basically, no. So no. Go ahead, Jazz.
But anyway, what I was trying to say was basically they are just trying to get everything lined up correctly and make sure that they're not putting out duds and bad stories. And Thor: Love and Thunder was actually pretty much page for page from the comics. They changed like small things, but it was page for page.
Well, hold on. We flushed out Phase 4 already, right off the bat, right? So let's not delve back into Phase 4.
Oh, I'm not going back. I was going off of what Renee said about how Thor. But anyway.
No, let's go back to Echo. Let's stick with Echo.
I was going back to Echo. And with Echo, I think they're going to do a really good job because so far with them melding things from the other franchises, I feel like them going back to basics, especially when we found out that Daredevil will be rated R. I feel like it's going to be a really good show. And since it's a prelude into Daredevil, I feel like it's going to be a kind of soft taste of what we're going to get in Daredevil when it comes to.
Go ahead, Renee.
Interrupt you. I need to jump off. I hate to do this. I just ordered $50 of Uber Eats and it went to the wrong, and it's not didn't.
Oh no!
Somebody else. I got to get in contact to get my money back.
No, get your money back.
I'll try to get back as soon as I can.
No problem. All right. I'm sorry now, Jazz. Finish your point.
I'm good. That's all I had to say.
Okay, and good luck with that. Yeah, Renee, come back when you can come back, hon. But in the meantime, get your money back. I certainly want my $50 back too for Uber Eats and shit. If my shit didn't get delivered to me, it's a lot of money for Uber Eats, man. I've never even done that much before. I've never done $50 worth before. What do you call it? So, anyways, as far as Echo goes, yeah, I mean, look, I'm optimistic about it. I mean, the fact that we know for a fact that we're going to have Charlie Cox, Daredevil in the series. We know for a fact we're going to have Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin in the series. That they're going to, basically end up in some way tying the Echo series into, the Daredevil series. I think is going to be a great lift for the series. It's got to help. You have to imagine. I mean, I'm a huge Daredevil fan. I don't know where you're at with Daredevil, Jazz. But he's definitely for me. I mean, he's probably one of my all-time top 5 favorite Marvel comic characters would be Daredevil.
Oh, I love Charlie Cox as the character. Comics wise, I'm really trying to get into it. I've only read a few of the Daredevil comics, so personally, Elektra was more my fan favorite when it came to the Daredevil universe of comics. So I haven't really read a lot of Daredevil myself, so I can't really whether or not.
I would suggest that if you're going to read if you're going to go in that direction, if they have them on the app, I would go with the Frank Miller run of Daredevil.
That's what a lot of people say, and that's kind of where I'm going with it. But I own the Frank Miller Elektra run, so I've read that one,
I've got
mean,
it too.
Besides that,
Yeah, I've got it too. I got it too. I got. Do you have the hardcover one or whatever?
no, I don't have the hardcover one. I have the paperback because it was like the first comic book I ever bought.
Oh,
Back
you have the
as a
actual
teenager.
comic book. Oh,
Yeah.
I got no. I know. I meant I got the whatever, like the special edition hardcover version or whatever that they sell on Amazon or whatever. Because it is considered such a classic, But basically, I mean, from what we understand, as far as where things are at right now with the Echo series, like I said, we should probably expect it in December 2023 at the latest, early 2024. It is going to cross over into Daredevil, the Daredevil Disney Plus series. Now, to what level of I guess rating Echo will end up having, we'll have to see, what direction they go with that. I mean, I'd love to see a more graphic version of Echo than what we saw in Hawkeye. More akin to like what they're going to do, hopefully, with Daredevil, which we would hope would be similar to the Netflix Daredevil series, right? In terms of the genre that we get, like the more adult orientated type of content. But I would expect, I'm sure you would agree, Jazz, to see them try to basically do what they can to flush out what's still there of her comic book origin story in the series in whatever way they can, involving Kingpin, involving, Daredevil, Matt Murdock. And then I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing Echo then ending up popping up in the Daredevil series too.
It's already guaranteed she's going to be in the Daredevil series.
Yeah.
But I hope they don't go too into the Kingpin thing. I'd like to see a little bit more of her relationship with her father, since we only really got a brush off of that during the Hawkeye series. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. I don't mind seeing Kingpin, but I'd like to see a little bit of versatility with that, like seeing a little bit of both, so that I can see the different role models in her life.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that, as far as what we know, from an official standpoint, besides the cast that I already laid out, we know that it's going to be directed by Sidney Freeland. And I hope I pronounce this correctly, I apologize. Catriona Mackenzie, created by Marion Dare. And there's actually a couple of other actors and actresses in the series. I don't know what their character names are going to be yet, and I don't see them online either. To be honest with you, they don't have a this Kay Devery Jacobs they have listed as Julie, but besides that, there's Graham Greene, there's Zahn McLaren, there's Devery Jacobs. They don't have character names for some of these other actors and actresses. So that's basically all we officially really know. And I'm going to basically leave it at that, Jazz. If you have any final thoughts on Echo, if you want to go ahead and get them out now, I'm going to go into What If Season 2.
I don't really know anything else about Echo in particularly, so you're good to go on.
Okay. Excellent. So as far as What If Season 2 goes, what I thought would be interesting would be, I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer from What If. I have the leaked trailer. It's kind of shitty. I'm not going to lie. That came out from Comic-Con. I do have a shitty version that I got off YouTube. We can watch it. It's not that good. But there is some interesting imagery in it that I think that you and I would probably enjoy talking about, Jazz. So here, I'm going to play. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jazz.
I say go for it. I don't know.
It's fine. I'm going to go ahead and play the What If trailer from the first season of What If, right? Just to kind of start things off, because, again, we don't have that much to work with, really, with this show.
Space. Time. Reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all.
promised an army.
You have a super soldier.
Cool.
You sure don't seem too freaked out about all this, kid. What you doing out there all by yourself anyway?
Exploring the world.
Sounds fun. But why stop at one world when we can show you all of them?
I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and dare to face the unknown. And ponder the question, what if?
Give me the tour.
Okay, so that was the trailer for What If Season 1. And Renee, I see you're back with us.
Yep. I'm back.
Excellent.
I didn't get the order, but I got my money back. I had to go through the little system. Yeah, he looks like he dropped it at the wrong house because I definitely don't have Christmas lights around my doors. Somebody got a really nice meal, but
I'm
Merry
glad
Christmas.
there you go. I'm glad you were able to hook somebody up like that and you're able to get your money back. Are you going to reorder your food?
Yeah, I will, but I'll do it after we're done here.
Okay, so
I got a little snacky over here I can eat.
We don't have that much really to work with for What If Season 2. So what I wanted to go around and just ask you guys real quick was, what were your thoughts on What If Season 1, starting with you, Renee? I mean, looking back at it now, how did you feel about it?
Well, it's cartoon. Right off the bat, I'm always, when it comes to cartoons, because, I didn't really have kids and I didn't really grow up, I grew up watching cartoons, certainly, but I didn't, then raise children, watching cartoons. So, it was okay. I mean, it didn't really, I think the latter episodes I thought were better than the first, but there were like several I just didn't really care about. And thought they were, why are they doing, what if? Okay, that's, to me, it was just like a little fun side thing to play around with. I don't think we should make it as much a part of the MCU saga going forward as maybe we think it is. I do know the latter episodes sort of tied in with Doctor Strange and Wanda, so I think, whatever. There again, I hate to be too judgmental because I know there are a lot of it's directed more toward younger audiences and stuff like that. So I think it's more in tune for that. So I don't want to say I don't think every bit of MCU should be catered totally toward me. I think there are all kinds of other things that can be done out there. So whatever. I mean, we'll see what comes up. I'll probably watch them all just like I did the other one, just to see what the storylines are. But yeah, overall, I mean, I'm not too excited about it.
Well, honestly, Renee, you got to take into consideration, how don't get me wrong, and we're going to get into this in a minute. Mm-hmm. Animation is no joke. I mean, like, the reason why, they're still not even completely sure when they're going to release this is because of how long the animation is taking. Mm-hmm. Now, could you imagine if they tried to do a live action, like, What If season, how difficult that would be logistically to make that happen?
Oh yeah,
to connect all those different to produce all those different individual episodes like that with all those crossovers and everything, and the different backgrounds and the different locations geographically. I mean, it would be it would be difficult. So
yeah,
in a way,
agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, no, I think it's important just to point out though that, like, for me, I'm with you. I'm not heavily inclined to animated stuff, although I do like the DC animated films personally. I do, and I like the X-Men animated series. I do, but which we're going to cover eventually. We are going to do that. But I like What If animated. I do. Again, Jasmine brought up a good point earlier, which is that, and I'm going to borrow this phrase from Kyle from True Believers, our friend over there, Kyle, over in Bradenton. He told me that he sees Phase 4 as an experiment for Marvel Studios, right? That's how he likes to look at it. I think that's a great viewpoint. That's a great way to articulate and translate Phase 4. That really narrows it down and takes away some of the negative implications that can be and then end up interjected in describing it. I like looking at it the way he says, just as an experiment, right? And that's why I remain optimistic about things like What If Season 2. I think What If Season 2 is going to be better than What If Season 1. What do you think, Jazz? And then what did you think of the first season of What If?
What If was good. They did a great job at trying something different. What If Season 2 is supposed to be rated R, so that's going to be interesting, and that's about zombies. So I'm optimistic about where it's going. And, the first season was just something different and exploring the multiverse, which a lot of people were complaining about with Multiverse of Madness. You were getting your elements of the multiverse through that, which eventually did cross over with said films.
Well, Marvel Zombies is going to be its own show in 2024, and we're going to cover that.
But that's what they're doing with the season 2. I did see that it is going to be rated R, and I did see that there was some implications of zombies being on there as well, because they're still going to finish off what they didn't finish with the first season. And I know
So you're saying that you heard that What If Season 2 is going to be rated R?
Yes, that's what I heard. That and Marvel Zombies.
Okay, well, that's new information for me, but that's certainly interesting. So basically, then you would agree that you think probably Season 2 will be better than Season 1?
I definitely agree, and I'm definitely excited to see that.
Well, basically, A.C. Bradley, who was a head writer, along with, of course, the director, who also, pitched in with the writing. And he is, of course, Brian Andrews. They wrote Season 1. A.C. Bradley's the creator, and also did the writing. And she was quoted as basically confirming that we'll get Season 2 in 2023. When, we don't know. It's looking like middle of the year to like the third quarter of the year. So, the fall season. And basically she says, and this is a quote, "Animation is an art form of patience." And they've been working on this season itself, the second season here with these episodes. When they initially started this project in 2018, this wasn't broken up into 2 seasons. They just made these episodes and ended up dividing it in that way. But she says that what we're going to end up seeing in 2023 is stuff that they started in 2018, believe it or not. So that's how long this animation process is. Now, like I said, I'm going to play this teaser trailer. Again, folks, I apologize. It is sloppy. It is a fan cam fucking teaser trailer from Comic-Con Marvel Studios panel. So do not expect much from this. Okay, I've got to find a better version than that, and I will. I promise you guys, I'll find a better version than that. It's tough. I looked at like 7 different versions, and that was actually the best one out of all of them, believe it or not. The other ones were really, really bad. Now, who could, starting with you, Jazz, then going to you, Renee, what could you actually make out in that? The only thing I really noticed that I could see clearly was a lot of Peggy Carter again, which I love. Like Peggy Carter, Captain Carter. The Doctor Strange version of Doctor Strange we see in there, that is not the same Doctor Strange from the What If season 1. That's regular Doctor Strange that we're used to from the MCU. That's not him like, corrupted or like whatever, you know what I mean, and whatnot. The version that we got in the first season, the concurrent version. It looked like Black Widow was there in there. I want to say I saw Shang-Chi and his sister. What did you pick out of that, Jazz?
It looked a lot like Civil War or the Winter Soldier one, where they went to go visit Tony at that house, or not. Hawkeye went Hawkeye to his family's house, but instead it was Peggy and Black Widow there,
Okay.
with their variant versions. I don't know. I know that the sister's supposed to be in it, because it's supposed to lead into the zombie one, but it's I know that the dark corrupted Doctor Strange from the first season is dead, because he died in Multiverse of Madness. So I'm pretty sure that's probably a different variant. If it's the one from our universe, that's interesting, since where we left off with that from the movie. But from what I saw, it looked a lot of scenes from other movies, but like a variant version of it.
Okay.
I did see War Machine for a split second, but they were kind of choppy and a little quick for my taste for me to really get a good view on anything. But those are the ones I noticed.
Renee, I saw Bucky in there too. I definitely saw him. It did look like I kind of maybe thought I saw something that looked like a continuation of the zombies deal. Mm-hmm. I could have been wrong. It was rough. What did you take out of that?
I couldn't make out much of anything. Like I say, it's just like still images. So, like I say, you can see the characters. I mean, a lot of Peggy Carter. And, she has an interesting, like I say, her storyline that she was the one who got the super serum, super soldier serum. So I think that's very interesting. As far as carrying that out, yeah, maybe they'll carry forward some of these other stories in the first season. Yeah. I mean, hey, we'll look forward to it. I'll say one thing about animation, my relationship with animation, because I grew up in the golden age of TV animation of Huckleberry Hound and the Flintstones, and of course all the great Warner Brothers and Tom and Jerry and whatnot that they would also show. So that's what I think of as a cartoon. Also the Disney, I saw all those types of cartoons. So for me, it's very much a childhood association. So one thing I prefer the theater aspect, the live action of it. That's what I like about what I want to see in film. So there's an uncanny barrier there for me, I think, in some ways with animation. But thinking about it, I mean, so much is CGI now. I mean, it's all getting to be animation. It's just a matter of time before they're just going to start eliminating the human actors themselves and just have the digital image up there because they can reproduce it so well. I'm not looking forward to that day. Maybe we'll go back to live theater at that point. We'll all, but get our little sandwiches and whatnot and spend the day in the park watching Shakespeare or something. That'll never happen. But anyway, so I'm not going to be negative. You're absolutely right. Animation is an art form, and I think if you kind of come at it at that approach, it's a little bit more entertaining, I think, for me. So, and I like the slapstick comedy aspect. I do love the Minions and those types of movies and whatnot. I just love those. Anything where it's just a lot of violence and whatnot, mayhem. Those are the kinds of cartoons I like.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. And I think that, and we're going to obviously, we're going to get into the Marvel Zombies, even though we don't know that much about it. We will get into that. We're going to get into later on another Sunday. We're going to get into the X-Men animated 97 series coming back. Talk about that. But basically, as far as What If Season 2 goes, as of right now, what we're anticipating, again, as of right now, and it's hard to get a firm official grasp on when this is going to come out, but we're looking at a second 9-episode season expected to premiere in, now they're saying early 2023, okay, but now early 2023, we already know that the first Disney Plus Marvel series we're going to get is in April. So as of right now, I would have, if I had to guess, I'd say What If Season 2 could very well be the first Disney Plus series we get this year. It'll probably be What If Season 2. That looks like it's what's ready to go. Now, there's also talks that they're set to do a third season of this already. It's in development. It's actually in development officially right now. I'm looking at it right now. The third season is in development right now, but who the hell knows what it'll take for that to be done, right? So again, all we really know at this point is that it's the same team that's producing it. AC Bradley, Brian Andrews, Jeffrey Wright is back as the Watcher. Now, one thing I would like to ask you, Jasmine, and then Renee, is what did you think of Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher? His aspect of what he brought to the first season of What If, and what would you like to see them do with him maybe in season 2?
Well, honestly, I enjoy seeing The Watcher because we got a sneak peek at them during the first 10 years. We finally got that little glimpse of them with Stanley. So actually seeing a Watcher actually be, prevalent and actually watching was interesting, and I enjoyed it. He did a great job. The voice was everything, and the fight scene between him and Vision was everything. And going through each universe was amazing as well. I enjoyed it very much.
Okay. Do you have any expectations, or is there anything that you'd like to see them do with that character maybe in season 2 that they didn't already do?
I have a feeling, depending on which, what they plan on doing with Deadpool. I just saw Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, like the first comic, and I saw what happened to one of the Watchers. So I kind of hope they do go the route of with the Deadpool movie of being like Deadpool kills the Fox Universe, and they kill one of the Watchers watching that particular universe. That'd be interesting.
Okay. All right. Renee, what did you think of Jeffrey Wright playing the Watcher?
Well, off the bat, I'm disappointed that MCU wasted Jeffrey Wright as a cartoon voice. I would much rather see him as a live action actor. I mean, he's a very, very good actor. One of my favorites, as a matter of fact. What if
Mine too.
What if season 3, all these cartoons suddenly become live action? That's an idea. That would be a tag. But yeah, Jeffrey Wright, as far as his voice and everything, he sort of has that. Golly, there was I can't think of the actor's name right now. His name's something, but he had this marvelous sort of innuendo type, sort of leer to his voice, and he did these voiceovers for City Confidential, and he would talk, and it was these crime narratives and whatnot, and what of it anyway. Jeffrey Wright, I think, has that same quality. He sort of brings that sort of creepy, way he talks and everything. It's just, I mean, he really has a great voice, and like I say, and a great face and a great body. And MCU figure out a way to put him on live screen.
Most definitely, I would agree with you on that. He's one of my favorites too. I thought he was great in the Batman as Gordon. I thought that was a great decision on their part to make him Gordon. In fact, I could have done with. I would like to have seen more of him in the film, to be honest with you. Hey, Joss, what's going on? We're hoping that Joss is actually going to join us for an episode of Willow. Joss, you need to actually try to hook up with me and give me a call, hon, so we can make that happen, my friend. And I will put it out there, folks. This is a quick little subway. Jasmine and I are tackling Willow, the Disney Plus series right now with Cyber on Friday evenings, and we both, I think all of us all agreed that episode 3 was actually a nice turnaround in the series, right, Jazz? It was a pretty solid episode, in contrast to the first 2. So, of course, there's a lot of people hating on the series right now, but we're enjoying it so far.
Oh, can I jump in? My apologies. The actor I was referring to did the voiceover was Paul Winfield, and he was also he was if you remember Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, he played the officer with Chekhov that was attacked with the earworms.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as What If season 2 subplots, I guess just to kind of wrap this up, since we don't know really officially that much about what we're going to get. Renee, is there anything specific? I know that you're not really big into the animation, but just as a fan, if there was something that you'd like to see them cover, like one of the What If episodes, if you had to throw something out there, what would you like to see?
I might have saw a hint of it. I think I saw Loki, and maybe somebody that looked like Odin, but he had both eyes.
Yes,
he was an older Nordic-looking man. So maybe a little bit of Loki's backstory, who his mother is. Why did Odin decide to raise him and not kill him, as he would have been advised to have done by Heimdall? Yeah, I think that would be interesting to find that out, because he's such an enigma. The character of Loki's such an enigma, and Loki's mom would like to find out who's Loki's real mom is.
Being Loki's mom, I would anticipate that. Get that paternity test done. So, Jazz, what do you think? Is there anything specific you'd like to see pop up in What If season 2? Any like ideas, any theories for like what would be like an ideal episode for you?
I'd like them to go a little darker with the storytelling. I'd like to see a little bit more of the horror aspect. I know they touched on it with the zombies episode, but I'd like to see them tackle some more mature Marvel content with What If when visiting other universes, because seeing different, outcomes of movies we've already seen is kind of just disappointing, I guess, in my opinion, because it's just a variant world, and it's like I don't really want to see what would have happened here. I would like to see what if it was darker. What if this person got killed off? I like to see differences in like what they can do with the Marvel brand. That's what if I'd like to see.
Okay. And I personally would like to see, I guess, I don't know. If the Punisher, I'd like to see Daredevil in What If. That'd be great. If they could just put Daredevil in there somewhere, I'd be happy with that. Or if the Punisher somehow manages to pop up between now and then, which I don't see it happening, but if it did happen, I always, as a comic book fan, I always loved the What If comics with the Punisher in them. They were some of my favorite ones. They were, to be honest with you. I used to read What If as a kid. I did. That was one of the ones that I liked and whatnot and everything. Not many people were that into it, but I was. I liked that seeing Shang-Chi in there, I think was great. So, okay, so basically, to wrap up What If season 2, we're going to move on to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We're anticipating and expecting and hoping that our good friend Alain is going to pop on with us and help us wrap up Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But you never know. Maybe he'll get busy and he won't be able to come on. We'll see. If we got to tough it out, we'll tough it out. I don't mind being outnumbered by ladies. But I'm trying to block these these porn ads or whatnot right now. And they're not. Find love on the best dating site. Huh.
Oh God, so that's fine, Jeff. Don't tell us.
I need to check this one out, Jazz. Sounds like my shit. No, I'm just kidding. I would never follow that link, Jazz.
Okay,
No,
yeah,
you know.
okay, you've taken. Quit staring at the screen.
anyways, so Guardians of the Galaxy 3, we got the trailer. I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and then we'll dive into it. Yeah,
And ain't it?
That's how. That's not it. Come on now, Jeff. Oh, don't even tell me I don't have the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer. I know I must have. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I can always screen share. I forgot for a minute there, but I can. 1 second, folks. Technical difficulties. Oh, shut up, YouTube. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer. There she is. Bam. Got it. All right. Hey, so we can almost do like a little bit of a reaction, even though you guys are straight audio, real quick.
Okay. I can do audio.
Gone for quite a while.
Spaceship.
What happens next? The galaxy still needs its guardians. Hello, we come in peace. Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude? No!
Don't forget where we came from.
We have been running our whole lives. Pete,
I'm done running. I'll fly away together. One last time. Into the forever. That beautiful sky. We are
And we'll kill anyone who gets in our way.
no, not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
Okay. So there you go. So, Jasmine, and then you, Renee. Just I guess kind of like jumping. Oh, look who's here.
I'm here.
Oh, you missed the trailer, man. We played the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer, man.
Oh, that's okay. I've seen that. I've seen it a bunch.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll go. You can go first. Then Jasmine, you can follow in after Alain since he just got here. Welcome, Alain.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Oh, it's good to have you back, brother. All this. I was starting to feel outnumbered by women and whatnot and shit. I didn't like it, man.
It's getting caught.
No.
You know how to take multiple women at a time. You're okay.
Oh yeah, man. Believe me, on my bucket list, I've got a foursome on there, baby. It's there. I got a different bucket list than both dudes. You know what I'm saying? My shit's a little bit out there, but along with I got fucking and the alien is on there too. I'm trying to make that happen. I want to be abducted by aliens purposely.
Yeah. Jeff suddenly got a lot more raunchier now that another guy jumped.
Yeah, you notice that? You notice that? How about that?
No. Oh
Is that
boy.
interesting?
Oh boy.
I got told earlier about flashlights, which is a basically a dildo with a vagina hole at the top.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But surely no one uses that, right?
So I got some slime from Time Zone last week. It's really, really sticky.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go, folks. Perfect segue for Alain coming on. So Alain, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yep.
Based off of the trailer, what's your premise of the film so far? If you had to just throw it out loosely, like, you know, based off the trailer again, what would your premise be of what we're gonna get?
Sure. Well, I think we're finally going to get some closure on what Guardians of the Galaxy 2 brings with Adam Warlock, the introduction of Adam Warlock. It's good to see that plot point finally coming, paying off, right? But I think it's kind of tricking us into thinking, like, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the trailer, and I don't think that is the bulk of it. I think maybe Adam Warlock is like a piece of it, and there's some bigger thing going on in the plot of Guardians 3. So I'm excited for that. I don't quite know. There's a lot of references to 2001 Space Odyssey with like the different colored suits that they wear that we see in the trailer and stuff like that. We talked about Ant-Man last time, and I don't know if you guys touched on this earlier, but Ant-Man is just like a really fun character, and the first two movies were just kind of like fun and silly, and the third one, according to the trailer, just looks like it has a lot of weight behind it. And I think this is the same thing for Guardians of the Galaxies. There's a lot of real serious moments in this trailer that I think the tone could be a lot darker than what we're used to from 1 and 2. But man, I don't know about the whole DC with what Gunn is doing, but Gunn has not disappointed me with his Marvel stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Guardians 3, definitely.
Jasmine, based off of the trailer, what would your what do you think? And then what you've already heard Alain cover, what are you seeing? How do you see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 flush out?
I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be more serious compared to the first two. The first one was more a building of a family. The second one was them raising a child, and now they're at the point where the child's an adult, and I feel like they're going to go that route of probably killing off Rocket. To do that whole dads don't survive in the Marvel Universe. Because they really do that. Like, Uncle Ben. Peter Quill's freaking daddies. So I pretty much figure that's where they're going with it. But honestly, I'm excited, but I'm a little disappointed because I know this is their last introduction in the universe. I'm hoping that they do with Secret Wars is recast everybody that they got rid of with a variant of themselves.
Okay.
Because the Marvel Universe is very diverse when it comes to superheroes. They never really die. So having them all dead or gone is just not how Marvel is. And I really hope that that's what they do. Because I don't want to see Captain America gone and replaced with Captain Ugh. I'd rather have Captain America, whether it's recasted or not, but like Steve Rogers, and have, even if Steve Rogers, like, this version is not super strong or anything, just having a Steve Rogers in the universe, because they just turned him old. I would have liked to see him retired, and then Sam needing him for some big mission at some point, and it would have been like this big moment.
And this time he's wearing a yarmulke.
Yeah.
Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, Steve Rogers.
But it would have been nice. It would have been nice to see characters that no longer, operating as, superhero-dom show back up for a little bit, just even if it was just for a movie, and then like, okay, back to retirement,
Okay. Renee, based off of the trailer, what are your expectations for the, I guess, like what you think the plot of this will be?
It looks to me like it. I was kind of listening. I think it's about the third time I've seen this trailer, and I was looking at the back where they're at, where they're in. It looks very organic, so I'm thinking maybe they're inside of another celestial. Something's going on there. Something organic.
Oh,
anyway, yeah.
That's Nowhere. No, they bought Nowhere from the Collector. That's where they live now.
Right, and Nowhere is a celestial, right? He's a burnout celestial.
A dead celestial's head. Yeah.
So maybe they're reconstituting it. Could be some, I don't know, but that's just what that's the impression I got anyway. I think I think it is going to be bittersweet, though. I think that's what they're going for. Yet we hate seeing our characters go, and of course in the MCU, they have the luxury of never aging. That doesn't happen in the movies unless they go straight to the CGI route, like what I was talking about before. And then we can have Chris Evans, 35 for the rest of his life. I mean, for the rest of the century. Anyway, however they do that, I agree. I hate seeing the characters be killed off, but this is not the comic books, where that can happen. This is a far more contained medium and very expensive. So, like I say, and I'll repeat this since Alain just jumped on, that the MCU, what they really did well in the beginning is finding the actors who could help define those characters on screen. Now they've sort of gotten away from that because they're going for, I think, actors, and they say, well, let's find an actor that will fit this character, and I think that's a mistake. Anyway, that's just my thoughts.
Whoever's typing, mute while you're typing, please. Anyways, yes, most definitely, and I think that from what I understand, from what I've read and the research I've done, and what online and whatnot, the rumors, and then what you see in the trailer is essentially that the High Evolutionary Herbert Wyndham is going to be the main villain of the film, essentially, right? What Adam Warlock's role in the film is going to be, I don't know exactly. They have not specifically put that out there in terms of what his real. I mean, for all I know, he may just basically be kind of popping in there for because the Sovereign are still pissed off at them. You know what I mean? Like years later or whatever, right? Like So but I will say this though. He does look pretty solid. He does look pretty good punching Nebula in the head there. And the only reason that they're able to pull that off, him as a male punching a woman like that, is because it's Nebula. And she's all fucking robotic and whatnot and shit, right? If that was like Captain Marvel, they'd never display that in a trailer or something like that or whatever. You'd never see that. You'd never see a guy like that punch a woman in the face like that. Just to be clear. Alain, would you agree with me on that one?
I think to be completely free of, misogyny and sexism, you got to show a guy punching a woman in the face a couple times around.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said, Alain. I like it, brother. Thank you. Very good. So basically, Herbert Wyndham, the High Evolutionary, who is the protagonist, or whatever you want to call it that, in the film, he's actually very connected and inspired by Mr. Sinister from the X-Men universe in the comic in the Marvel Comics wing. Mr. Sinister, of course, is Nathaniel Essex, who he initially was known for performing genetic experiments involving rats in his parents' basement, and he evolved that into doing work, on genetic experiments with human beings and things like that and whatnot. Basically, in the comics, Wyndham, the High Evolutionary, while attending a conference in Geneva, is approached by a disguised Inhuman who gave Wyndham the secrets for unlocking genetic codes. As a result, he created a serum that allowed for genetic alteration, but his controversial work got him expelled from Oxford University. However, Wyndham joined with another fellow scientist, Jonathan Drew, to continue his work, and they set up a base in Transia on, of all places, Wundagore Mountain, folks. that has been connected to multiple things in the MCU so far, including WandaVision and Wanda and her powers, and later on Magneto probably. On Wandor Mountain in a futuristic citadel that his inhuman contact gave him a workforce of moloids to build. Now, so essentially, the High Evolutionary is the one that that experimented and created Rocket, right? We're going to get Rocket's backstory in this film. I've also heard heavy rumors that we might see Drax's daughter still be alive, and she may pop up in the film, and he may reconnect with his daughter in the film, and that's how they may send him off. It's kind of with his daughter, right? I forget the name of Rocket's girlfriend. I'd have to look it up real quick. The squirrel chick and whatnot and everything. That's Rocket's girlfriend from the comics.
Otter.
Okay, yep. No. So basically, Wyndham created, or like the High Evolutionary created the New Men by evolving animals into humanoid forms. And long story short, we're not going to see this in the film, obviously, but you see him in the comics connecting with people like Chthon and Magnus and the Inheritor and people like that and whatnot. All again having to do with Wundagore Mountain, where the Maximoff twins, of course, with their pregnant woman, pregnant mom Magda, gave birth to twins Wanda and Pietro on the mountain. And Chthon's power touched them, giving him a conduit, giving the High Evolutionary a conduit into the world. The twins would grow up to become the mutant superheroes of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. The High Evolutionary's new man, Bova. I think we haven't seen Bova in the MCU yet. First tried to pass twins on to Robert Frank, whose wife had died in childbirth, before giving them to a Romani couple who had lost their own children, which I believe that they actually did kind of show something like that in WandaVision. So long story short, the High Evolutionary is the one that created Rocket. He did all this crazy experimentation and shit and whatnot. Obviously, you see that scene in the trailer where like Quill is like really emotional, like he's like screaming and whatnot and everything. And that's like Alain, you mentioned the darker tone. I like that. Them going in that direction. I think that's a great contrast for them to go in that way. You obviously you can see that Mantis's role is becoming more prominent, just like in the holiday special. And also, besides, knowing that essentially that Adam Warlock is going to be played by what is the gentleman's name? Will Poulter, who I don't really know much about his background as an actor, but Renee has already noticed and mentioned is a little smaller than what you'd expect from Adam Warlock from the comics. We don't really know what his whole deal is going to be in the comics. We do know that Sylvester Stallone is to make an appearance in the movie. Cosmo, the space dog, is now essentially a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a new ship. It's called the Bowie. And also, essentially, Gamora is leading what's left of the Ravagers now. Like that's her deal in the film, is that she's leading the Ravagers. With of course, what's his name? Kraglin is now a member of the Guardians as well. He's not really like with the Ravagers anymore. So, Renee, what do you think? What are your expectations with this film? I guess going into it. I mean, it's Gunn's last shot, in the MCU, right?
What was the name?
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts overall on the film, as far as what we know so far, and what we got from the trailer, right? The fact that this is
you mentioned
James
somebody's name is
he said it was James Gunn.
James Gunn.
James Gunn. Okay.
Yeah, it's his last film in the MCU, right? He's done great work in Guardians 1 and 2. What are your thoughts on the prospects for this film?
Well, I mean, based on the fact that James Gunn did such a good job on the other two, he should do a good job on this one. However, I made the same mistake with Waititi, but they're different men, different directors. So Gunn's got a good. I mean, he's got a good reputation. He should do well. If Marvel and Disney let him do his thing, which it looks like it's going to be. I mean, I anticipate it's going to be that like that. And I'm still wondering, why do you want to hit Captain Marvel in the face? I mean, what's she ever done to? I mean, I can understand why they want to do it to the other. I mean, she's a bitch, but Captain Marvel, she just has a flat ass. You don't have to beat that towards her.
She could take a blow to the face anyway. Thanos headbutted her and it didn't even bother her.
Yeah, anybody that hits Captain Marvel is going to come back with a broken, smashed up hand.
Yeah.
And then get their ass beat on top of it.
No, I love Captain Marvel. That's why I got that Captain Marvel poster. You know that,
we know
Renee.
you love her. We know your secret.
You can see it. You can see it. It's right there in the corner, folks. It's right there. You can see her feet.
It's a feet fetish. It's her feet. Now we know.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna connect this to House of the Dragon now. So we're gonna have a foot fetish involved in this shit. So Jasmine, again, ladies first. What are your prospects, Jasmine, for Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Okay, it comes out after Ant-Man 3 Quantumania, right? And I believe the official release date on it, let me see if I can pull up real quick, is going to be as of right now, and I believe that this is firm, it's scheduled to be released on May 5th, 2023. So right before summer. So what are your prospects, Jasmine? What are your thoughts on this one? Do you think that do you think this could be the best Guardians film of the three right here? I mean, do you agree with Alain that they're going to go like with a really serious tone with this film?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, I think that they're really going for a good send off for everybody. And I'm particularly invested in seeing where it goes. I'm just sad to see them go since they've only really been in 3 movies and 1 crossover or 2 crossovers.
I agree. 100%. I do. Is that all you got, Jazz? You have anything else to add?
No, not really. Alain was pretty thorough with his synopsis prior to us doing our little ending, so yeah, I don't really have much to say about it.
What do you think of Will Poulter playing Adam Warlock, Jazz, so far? I know we didn't see much, but like, what did you think of the little bit we saw?
He's hot. What do I have to complain about? He was beaten ass and looking good. I mean,
I can tell he's fucking hot, Jazz. Okay, I can tell that. You know what I mean? That I need more than that. I'm expecting more from a regular female guest on my show here, hon.
I'm black. I don't care. I was like, he's fine. He's fine. That's all I saw. He was beating somebody up, and I was like,
he's all ginger and freckles.
He could be my Ike Turner. He fine. Shit. Like, hello. Hi.
Well, Renee, honestly, Renee,
Renee,
he's not as big, he's not as bulky as he is in the comics and whatnot, right? He's not as wide, like at the shoulders and whatnot and everything, right? But he is very muscular. I'll give him credit for that.
I was going to say, how would you know? Have you seen his inside his pants?
I didn't mention his penis.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Does Adam Warlock have a penis? When did the can meld with his sister, who's the gold lady in the thing, I think supposedly, and just form babies that way. So they don't even have to have sex. Adam Warlock doesn't even need a penis. That's how great he is.
Boo!
So he's like
he can just impregnate you with his thought.
He's like Vision. He has no penis.
No penis at all. No, anyway, yeah. Now, Will Poulter, I mean, nothing against the young actor. I saw him in a drama that was about the...
I see your forehead.
Who, you talking to me? Oh,
yes.
Crap.
Come on, Renee. Be careful there. You almost ruined your fucking anonymity right there, my friend. I was about to message you in the private chat and be like, hey, put your straight audio thing back on.
Anyway, yeah, nothing against Will Poulter. As far as he's an actor, he doesn't really. I mean, Jasmine finds him hot. I mean, he doesn't really appeal to me. I mean, maybe him bulked up, on steroids will be a little bit better. I'll give him I'll give him a second look when he gets on the big screen.
I don't need him to be that big.
But anyway, I saw him in another a drama. I can't remember the name of it. I'm so bad with names. With Michael Keaton, that was about OxyContin And
yeah. Mark Rutledge was just reviewing is reviewing that.
If I could, somebody could think of it. But anyway, he was in that and played a character. He was one of the people who was going out and selling OxyContin based on a real character in it. So he's a good actor. I mean, nothing against his abilities. So, and we'll see how he does.
Okay. What does anybody have any thoughts on how Gamora? You want to jump on this, Alain? What do you think about what are your expectations for the film? Right, their prospects, but how do you see Gamora's play flushing out in this film? Because that's really kind of a loose piece right now.
Yeah, I mean, we could go all the way back to Endgame and talk about that, right? Like I didn't quite agree with exactly how the deaths went down back then and the repercussions that you kind of have to deal with now with that, right?
Period.
Huh?
I agree.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, you're gonna kill off Black Widow, then you're gonna have a Black Widow solo movie. All right, whatever. So then you're gonna kill off Gamora, and yet you're gonna just bring her back almost immediately, but she's a different variant, which means that she has no past memories or feelings for the rest of the Guardians, even though that's what the other two movies worked up to, right? So whatever there.
Alain, can I jump in right there?
Sure.
Go ahead.
That you're right. What I think doing this, what this does, it cheapens what the character went through before.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I think they're missing there. Nobody wants their favorite characters to die off, but reality is everybody dies. And I think fate and everything, you're going to come to it at some point. So I think that's what they're skipping anyway.
You're right. I mean, everyone dies, and that's part of life, and that's part of filmmaking. But the thing is about bringing her back is that the whole relationship between Peter Quill and the rest of the Guardians is mostly like that romantic connection between him and Gamora, right? So you're severing that completely, and so it kind of brings you to the point where it's like, are they going to try to build that back, the thing that they established over two movies? Are they going to try to bring it back up in one, or is this Gamora going to be a completely different character? Which I'm kind of more on that path. I kind of just was like, just make her a completely different character. Don't just forget the whole romance between her and Star-Lord. But in saying all this, is that we didn't see her in Thor: Love and Thunder, even though the Guardians had a little cameo there, and we did not see her in the holiday special at all. So
she's a Ravager,
right? But like what I'm saying though is that now she was featured prominently in the Guardians 3 trailer. So how are they gonna put her in there and make it feel okay with the audience?
Sure.
Did you see how they did the ending where they introduced the Ravagers with Stallone and whatever? Because that's what they're going with. She's joined them. So this is a whole different character. She has a whole different thing going on with her. She's a Ravager, and they happen to come across, them during the movie. That's why they're,
No. I understand that, but we see a lot of her in the trailer with the Guardians, interacting with them, and so I'm curious on like how is that going to be a smooth transition, or is it just going to feel weird the entire time? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't think it's going to be weird because I feel like he already grieved losing her, and now he sees that as a different person, and that's why he was grieving and not searching for her, because he knows that's not the same person, because she's kind of more of the comic book version of the character than opposed to the version he met where she was kind of on the fence of everything.
Well, I think in terms of the trailer, Jasmine, we don't know. You have a wealth of information that we don't, that I don't have, certainly. So when I'm looking at the trailer and I'm seeing Gamora, I'm thinking something else. So I think that may be a fault of the trailer. They're not giving us they're not letting us know she's a Ravager. I mean, we get hints and pieces of it, but it's just right now we can't assemble it without having your knowledge.
There's a lot of
So,
leaks going on. That's why I know that she's a Ravager.
That's the
well,
thing,
I know,
right?
but most of us aren't into reading all that. You know, we come into all this stuff cold, so you're putting out really what I think is spoiler information.
Yeah,
you know, we don't know. We don't know what the movie's going to be like.
That's a good point.
We keep second
Renee,
and
if you don't
third
mind,
and fourth guessing these things.
Renee, I'll let you. Believe me, I'd be more than happy to let you finish your point. Jasmine, I just want to point out that Renee makes a good point. Is that we typically don't bring up spoiler talk, or we don't bring up like rumor stuff off of like Reddit and stuff like that, whatnot. Like we usually don't interject that stuff into like these conversations. Typically, that's the thing. Like we don't usually go there. Like, maybe somebody will throw something out there as a joke here and there and whatnot and everything, right? But unless we're dealing with something that's official Marvel Studios designated shit, that's all we fuck with, typically.
Yeah,
you know
even
what I'm
what
saying?
Jeff showed was what they had already showed at Comic-Con, so we're just getting a sneak peek. But it's not bare speculation based off rumor.
But Jasmine, what you said before, what you said about, okay, so when was this? Last time we were both on the show, is that Phase 4 is really the time for the characters to have that closure and to grieve, right? And from my remembering how the events of Endgame went down, Gamora dies, and then the Guardians plus Tony Stark plus Spider-Man plus Doctor Strange fight Thanos and lose, and then shortly after Thanos snaps,
That was Infinity War.
You're right, that was Infinity War. So soon afterwards, Thanos snaps and Peter is dusted. Just a few hours before that, he learns of Gamora's death, and then the next time we see him, he comes back 5 years later. So that's 5 years to everyone else having time to grieve. But Peter doesn't have that. He doesn't have that closure.
He does in Phase 4, though.
But this is the first time we're seeing him in Phase 4.
Well, we don't know that yet, Jasmine. I mean,
No,
I think
no, we're seeing him in
driving
Phase
into the
5.
ground. I'm getting
The
less
next
and
time
less
we see him is
interested
Phase
in the
5.
movie.
Oh, in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, Love and Thunder is when we saw him, and that was Phase 4.
Right. But there was no real talk about his closure with Gamora in that movie, was
They
there?
didn't really talk about it, but they did show him during the Christmas special, if you watched it, that he was, saddened and he was grieving because he lost so much, and all he really had was Christmas, and that's why they did the special the way they did it.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
okay.
So, anyways, bottom line, as far as Guardians of the Galaxy 3 goes, right? What do you guys think? I guess is like I guess just a final question to kind of wrap this up. What do you think about the legacy of the fact that, like, again, this is a trilogy that started in Phase 2, right? It goes back as far as Phase 2. This is almost like the equivalent of us losing like a secondary Avengers team right here, almost in a way. Like these again, we're losing another set of like the original characters from the MCU, right? Like, so what are your thoughts on that? The fact on how that's going to impact at least maybe your personal view of going in and seeing the third film, right? Like, I know that's going to really affect me. Just like I picked Black Widow, the Black Widow solo film, as my number 2 ranked production from last year from MCU, from Marvel. That's probably my own bias towards ScarJo playing such a great job as Black Widow, and how much homage I want to give to her for that. I mean, and then like the fact that she's an original 6th Avenger character, and so that's like to me, that's like they're like almost family to me, like how I view them. What do you think about that connection? Like, how that's going to play for you and for the other fans in the fandom? And then who do you think, if anybody could survive from this and still remain in the MCU, if anybody, from the Guardians bunch? And I'll start with you, Alain.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I mean, I think when Guardians of the Galaxy first, got on everyone's radar, I think everyone was a little wary of it, being like, they're not that well known. Like out of all the Marvel characters, they were not that well known, so people were like, we don't know how this is gonna, go. And I think once the movie came out, people were like 110% on board with them. Like these obscure characters ended up being like people's favorite characters in the whole MCU. And now that it's ending, I think it's going to be a heavier weight on the whole MCU as people maybe initially thought at first. As far as who's going to survive out of this, I mean, really, like, I don't know, maybe Nebula, maybe Quill. I couldn't imagine like Drax or maybe Groot. I don't know. I'm just trying to see like who on their own could carry could have the charisma to carry it. I don't think Drax on his own does. I don't think Gamora on her own does. Nebula, I could see Nebula joining up someone. I could see Chris joining up with the Chris Pratt joining up with the rest of the Avengers. Rocket.
I think they could do solo films with Pratt, and he would do okay.
But see, the thing is that Star-Lord needs a team, right? I mean, they're called the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not going to just watch a thing called Star-Lord. I mean, personally, right? But I just feel like the essence of the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to go away with Gunn. So I'm hoping they figure out how to do something cool with the remaining characters at the end of the movie. Definitely.
Okay, Renee.
Could you restate the question?
What do you think of the personal attachment angle of like the Guardians of the Galaxy, considering the fact that they started in phase 2, right? We've had them for as long as we've had them. How is that going to affect you going in to see the film? What do you think that means to the fandom? The fact that, again, we're losing these big parts of the MCU, these big players from Infinity War and Endgame, right? Mm-hmm. And then who do you think out of the rest of the team could still survive in the MCU, possibly, and still be left?
Yeah, I think the movie, I've already said, I think it's going to be bittersweet. There's going to be tragedy. There's going to be tears at the end of it. We need a catharsis. These catharsis movies are things that I think sometimes we lack in our entertainment. We need to get past, these characters. We have new characters we're going to meet. We need to thin out the herd, as it were, for the survival of the species of MCU. As far as who's going to remain, I can see. I think Groot's not going anywhere because Groot's already had one death, and he's just a young fella, and there's a lot that they can do with Groot. I think Rocket's going. I think he's always been a miserable character. He didn't want to be what he is. He was just a raccoon, or maybe he was just a human, and now he's a human raccoon. But he wants to find some peace somewhere. I think maybe he's going to find that. Maybe he won't die off, but I think maybe he'll go off. Maybe he'll go back to being a raccoon and live in the forest with the otters and the little bluebirds and whatnot. Who else could survive? Nebula, definitely. I think that you could, like her and Kraglin, I think you could do like a Ravengers type cast, secondary cast, build off that. Kind of like in TV shows when they finally shut down the main cast, and then Frasier goes off and does his shtick, and it really does real well, and even probably better than the original. But yeah, I think it could be something like that. Peter Quill, I think, yeah, you're absolutely right, Alain. He's that's the Guardian of the. I mean, he is the Guardians of the Galaxy. He is the Guardian. He without the others, I don't think would work. Could they do something else with Chris Pratt's character with him somehow, some way? Who knows? Maybe they can figure out a way to keep him going. But I don't think it would be as Peter Quill. Who else? Drax, definitely. I think he's going to be the one that's going to I think he'll definitely be gone. He'll be killed off. Of the others, I'm not real sure. I think the side character is going to keep going some way somehow. So yeah. In some ways you say, well, why would you want to kill all these characters off? Because it's at some point it's time for people to go, and give them a good send off, a good memory.
Jasmine?
Well, I already know that some of them are leaving because of the fact that they're only really wanted to work with James Gunn. So a few of them are leaving. So, but the ones that aren't affiliated with him in that aspect, I figure they're probably going to keep Gamora. That's why they brought her back. They're probably going to keep Groot because, it's just Vin Diesel doing voiceover. And I figure they're probably going to keep Gamora's sister. I can't remember her name right now.
Nebula.
I think they're going to keep her too. Out of everybody, and maybe the guy with the frisbee weird thing on his head that whistles. Well, trying to whistle. But yeah, I don't think they're going to keep majority of them just due to the fact that they've already stated that this was their last project without James Gunn, so they weren't going to stick around. But I do still think they're going to kill off Rocket because that's kind of where they're going. But it may be a red herring. Maybe it might be somebody else. Maybe it's Drax. Or hopefully not the sister. If they kill Mantis, I will uproar. She's my little sweetheart, and she needs to be protected. She is a princess, and she needs to be protected.
Now, somebody wants to have a baby with Mantis. Was that Adam Warlock?
I'm okay with that.
I don't remember that.
Relationship.
Did I miss that? Did I miss that? Was that like was that a post-credit scene or something I didn't see, or I missed or something like that?
No. How about comic?
Oh.
But hey, I'd be in a three-way relationship like that. Hey, Mantis and him. I can go to sleep when I wanna.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, I hit Mantis. I don't give a fuck about her stupid fucking antennas. I tap that shit. Why not? What do you think, Alain?
All kinds of things with those antennas.
Alain, would those antennas be an impediment to you, brother?
Oh.
Man, I was just saying that otter looks nice. Okay.
Oh man, the otter chick. Oh. You want to try to fuck with the fur? You want to get in the fur? You want to get in with the furry community a little bit there, Alain?
I mean, they're all aliens. Who cares? Whatever.
Oh, that first scene though, when they land and they think they're going.
I will pay for that OnlyFans.
That first scene though in the trailer though, where they land and people of Earth, we've come to save you or whatever it is, and then there's a typical American street full of these weird.
Yeah. Fucking weirdos. Yeah.
And I think I saw that monster in the second Guardians for the credits that they're being attacked and whatnot. And I think isn't that the same monster we see in the trailer? I'm not sure.
Could have been.
I think so.
No, there's things to look forward to.
Anyways, yeah, there's some fucking weirdo people over there.
It's not all going to be death and dying and whatnot. There's going to be fun too.
Oh, it's a gun film. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, I don't know. Alain, what did you think of the Suicide Squad film that he did for DC?
I thought it was okay. I mean, I had fun watching it. I watched it again recently because my sister-in-law never saw it, so we sat down and watched it with her, and I think it was a good film. With Gunn has a really good way of mixing fun with seriousness, right? Like when it needs to be heavy, it doesn't feel so out of left field. So he ties in those tones pretty well. One project that I love, and I didn't realize Gunn had a hand in, was the live action Scooby-Doo. And he wrote it. He didn't direct it, but he wrote the first one and the second one. If you guys have seen the live action Scooby-Doo, that is right.
They're backwards though.
Right.
He did state that he did them backwards, just because he thought the first one would appeal to audiences better than going straight with the second one. But yeah, they're backwards. You're supposed to watch the second one first and then the other one.
That makes a bit of sense too, but I love the first one. I think the first
I
one
do
is
too.
so good. And the casting for that, right, is like perfect. But the way he handles
Sarah Finn, baby. Sarah Finn.
the way he handles the tone and the writing for that, it's like, yeah, it's Scooby-Doo. It's supposed to be off the wall bonkers, but it grounds you. And I think that's what he's really good at doing too, is grounding these characters, these like silly characters. So when you open a trailer with Drax just nailing an alien child in the face with a dodgeball, and then like 5 seconds later you have Chris Pratt screaming in pain, it's not weird for me to watch that in a gun film, because it's like, I know when the movie comes out he's going to tie that perfectly. It's not going to feel weird. So yeah.
Okay.
I don't even remember the question. What was the question?
My question was, basically, I guess, for you, well, no, I asked you about Suicide Squad, and you said you thought it was all right.
Yeah, I
it
thought
wasn't
it was
your
all
favorite.
right.
It wasn't the best thing ever.
No.
I thought it was fucking awesome. I thought it was the best thing I'd seen from DC in a really long time. I thought Gunn killed it with that shit. What did you think of that shit? Did you see Suicide Squad, Jasmine?
Jazz.
Jasmine.
Mike.
Hold on. All right, got it. It was a good film. They did a good job. I did have my issues with it just due to the fact that he did kill off main characters that are actually in the comics that don't usually get killed off. So killing them off, saying it was to show that this movie has stakes, felt like a cop out for me. And it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, Renee, what'd you think of it?
You talking about Suicide Squad or the Suicide Squad?
The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad that Gunn did.
The Suicide. Okay. Because I thought it was the same movie for a long time. Yeah, I thought it was. It was a good movie. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was too gory. I thought they just went overboard on that, and it was unnecessary. But I mean, yeah, it was funny. I hated they killed off Michael Rooker right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know, why did you do that, James?
I do want to say that I was at a con once and I met Michael Rooker, and this was like right before he got real big.
Mhm.
This was before Guardians, and it was at the end of the con and there was no one at his booth. So my wife and we walked up and we were like, "Hey, we really like you on Walking Dead, blah, blah, blah." I just want to say, nicest guy, super sweet guy.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I've heard that from multiple people that he's really great.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost you there, Jazz. Hope you're all right, hon. Well, anyways, folks, I was going to wrap it up right there anyway. Might as well try to sneak under the 2-hour mark here. Alain, thanks for jumping on with us for a little bit there, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking me on.
Yeah.
Even though I could only do half. So
hey, listen, for future reference, man, we have no problem doing that here in the Bleeding Edge. You're always welcome. If you ever want to just come on for half the show or whatever and whatnot, just let me know, and it's perfectly fine with me, man. You come on when you want to come on.
Appreciate it.
You know, we'd rather have you for half the show than not have you at all. So, so basically, we're not going to be seeing Alain for a minute. He's got the holidays coming up, and then he's going to have a vacation coming up. Good for him, right? I hope that he has the opportunity to enjoy his time with his family and enjoy his vacation. But Alain, do you want to plug? I know you're stockpiling content right now for I Finally Watched, right? Based off of per our conversation yesterday.
Yep.
What say you in terms of what you got unveiled here coming on for the podcast?
Sure. Well, so this month, as I mentioned before, we were doing so we usually do movies that one of us has never seen, but this month we decided to do movies that we both have seen and we both love, kind of like a holiday treat to ourselves. So tomorrow comes out Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is a movie that David and I both really enjoy. And then we always do a Christmas but not a Christmas movie every year. So day after Christmas, our Eyes Wide Shut episode is coming out. And then we end the year, that's us. And then we end the year with the movie Drive. And then next year we got a bunch of guests, including yourself, Jeff, planned.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so we want 2023 to be our most guest packed episode. So that's going to be real exciting, definitely.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I'm looking forward to guesting on I Finally Watched. I can tell you right now, I am, folks. And Alain, don't forget, send me those links, baby. I told you to hook me up, man.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem. Send me your links. Jazz, tell me, my friend, did you enjoy doing the bandmate reactions that we did together?
Yes, they were fun. I enjoyed them very much.
Did you like Bandmade?
I still have to listen to their studio version because I feel like the live version didn't do best to represent them, but I did enjoy them though.
I see. And so basically what you're saying is you want to hear the studio versions of the tracks.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. I got you. Okay. All right. Well, that's understandable. That's totally understandable. So basically, folks, Jasmine is, I guess you could say, rebranding her YouTube channel. And at that point, her and I went ahead and jammed out a couple of my bandmate reactions that I do on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, on the Bleeding Edge Reactions playlist. I do a series of video reaction collaborations with other creators and whatnot and everything, and other friends and TBI survivors and whatnot and everything. And Jasmine and I went ahead and banged two of them out the other day. You like how I slipped that? We banged them in there, Jazz, just for me and you know?
You're a dork.
Yeah, I know. So she still owes me one more other reaction, to Bandmade, that we got to still do. And I have not quite figured out what song I'm gonna pick for her first, or for her last. I mean, but we'll see. But I'll tell you what, Jazz, if you ever want me to react to something that you want to pick, like some other artist or some other singer or band or whatever, whatnot, you let me know. I'll jump on with you and I'll do a reaction video on your channel with you.
Sounds good.
And that is Jazzy Nerd Girl Reacts right here. The YouTube channel. Obviously, you can see she needs some new content. We're working on that right now. And finally, Renee, Lokismom. Sakar.freeforums.net, my friend. What are you making time? Are you getting on the forum these days much, or?
No. They're over and doing their thing with some other non-MCU stuff right now, and I'm dedicated to you. And it's the first night of not Passover, Hanukkah, and I feel like I really feel great for you, Jeff, that you've been invited to the big leagues over there with Alain, and I'm really envious and whatnot. And I finally listened to Alain's podcast, and the episode I chose was Psycho, and I rather had that was an experience for someone like myself who cut her teeth on Psycho. It is a thriller, not a horror movie. But anyway, Alain, I finally watched his great podcast where they review movies that they have decided to pull out of the archives and look at. And it's, like I say, he's in the major leagues. You can find him over on Apple Podcasts. So good for you, kid.
Well, Renee, you're invited anytime. We just got to make a plan for it, okay?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh.
Listen, Renee, you tell me. Now, Alain will already tell you that I've already put a word in for you to begin with already. With you going over there, but no, Renee does an excellent job reviewing movies. She's one of my go-to, female guests. Yes, I do view things that way. I won't lie, folks. I differentiate like that. That I go to, for review for doing specifically, MCU movies and stuff like that and whatnot. And her background lends very well to movie reviews across the spectrum. Like she can cover pretty much anything. But whatever, however you want me to connect you to Alain, Renee, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever, if you want me, whether
No, I'm
it be
comfortable
email.
with anything.
Oh, stop it. Obviously, Alain, you can join Sakar if you want. That I was just showing a minute ago and whatnot and everything. And you could actually, if you ever wanted to like jump on the champion sometime, they're good guys.
Yeah, they're great guys over there. Absolutely. The Grandmaster. He's our lead, as he should be, the Grandmaster over at Sarkar. Wonderful gentleman. He does his podcast podcast out of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. So
there it is, Alain,
it's
right
an
here.
International
Thank you. Yeah, where?
Sakar.freeforums.net.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay.
And you can find me on there as Lokismom, and you'll also see my lovely assistant and friend, Lady Death Lady. She's my avatar over there. So look for Lady Death Lady, and you'll find me.
There she is, right there.
You can just
Loki's
ask
mom.
me any question you want, just anything. Sex questions. I can do Dr. Ruth, or I can do Miss Cleo, and do your future.
Excellent. And yeah, find me on Twitter too. So.
Oh, are you kidding me? Renee does not deal with social media.
And how do you do Twitter?
Oh.
Got nothing again.
You like it? You like it?
The fuck is this with your broke ass?
What?
That's why I don't talk to your broke ass.
It's about
broke.
It's about the meaning of.
That's not Chanel.
It's about.
Get out of my face.
Girlfriend right there. Man, a lot.
What the hell is this Adbra?
So is that standard TikTok fare?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
That was an example of Jeff trying to join a threesome right there.
Yes. I was doing research, right, to improve my threesome game.
Yeah, research,
I'll give this little cookie an hour before we're doing the no pants dance. Time to musk up.
Wow. Never ceases to amaze me. What cologne you gonna go with? London Gentleman or... Wait. No. Hold on. Blackbeard's Delight.
No. She gets a special cologne. It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep. It's made with bits of real panther. So you know it's good.
It's quite pungent.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's a formidable scent. It stings the nostrils. In a good way.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm gonna be honest with you. That smells like pure gasoline.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, let's go see if we can make this little kitty purr.
There you go, folks. I'm telling you right now, you need to get you some Odeon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what me and Alain use personally.
Oh, yeah.
We use Sex Panther.
Smells like a diaper full of Indian food.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's got bits of real
like
panther.
Dick.
There you go. Do you ever wonder? I wonder if is Swamp Thing's dick just like a trunk, like a fucking tree trunk?
Yeah, it's just a root. It's like a man root.
Oh, like a root. Okay.
Yeah, it might have 4 or 5 of them down there. With
like a
with
multiple penis.
The little rhizomes all falling out and wiggling around.
Alain, you know what's gonna happen? I forgot to warn you about when you join the Bleeding Edge, your own content starts to become corrupted by the evil forces that come from me. You know what I mean? Like, and my guests that are already converted. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been converted.
He didn't have to convert me to anything.
So you know what I'm saying? So at that point, like, you could start to find that your own content could start getting darker. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like more like you could be going in more of a Frank Miller Daredevil direction, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Sometimes I think my content is too PG anyways, so that's okay.
Oh, so wait a minute. Would you say that you actually have had the epitome here over the bleeding edge? That maybe it might not be a bad thing to loosen up a
Yeah,
little bit?
I wouldn't go that far. Epitome? No. But
that'd be too much credit to give to me there.
Too much too fast. So
if I would just gaslight more people and just say more fucking bullshit to people just to make them feel better about themselves, I would be treated so much more fairly by people. I'm telling you, folks.
Maybe.
I'll tell you right now, deciding to just be yourself, no matter what, with other people in society just be prepared, folks. If you ever go down that direction and you decide to just stop saying things to people just for no fucking reason, but to placate them, suddenly people stop saying nice things to you. Like all of a sudden you don't get complimented very much. It's just part of the dichotomy, unfortunately. I've learned that. It's interesting. But I'm an interesting person, if you haven't noticed that. Just like Alain is too, and just like Renee is, Lokismom is too. But anyways,
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Jeff?
Oh, nothing important. But no, I will help. I will make sure that we connect. I will connect you, Renee, with Alain. And Alain, I'm looking forward to coming on I Finally Watched. I can't wait. I'm already excited and stoked right now inside. I can't wait to find out what movie we're going to do and everything and whatnot. And I trust you 100%. Like
awesome.
whatever you pick, I'm sure it's going to be fucking awesome.
And I know what movie we're going to do, Jeff, and I know what movie we're going to do, Renee, and it's definitely
Undercover Cop.
Naked Gun. No. No, it's a movie you suggested, Renee. It's the Point Blank.
Oh, fantastic. All right.
Yeah. Oh man.
Absolutely.
This like a Christmas present.
Lee Marvin up there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
so
guys.
what'd you get for me? Are we watching like a Skin and Max movie or something like that, or?
Yeah, true confessions. No. We're doing Blade 2, man.
Oh, Blade 2, awesome.
Blade 2.
Can't wait. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll make sure that I only get partially intoxicated during the recording.
Well, remember you're on Apple. You're on Apple Podcasts.
That's true.
You're on Apple Podcasts.
That's true. They have.
Do you want to allow?
There's not a lot of those, and I have actually remembered when I went on Alain's, went looking for it, and it popped up there. I said, well, I'll look there and see. Lo and behold, there it was. And then I remembered I had actually been on that, you guys, because I like listening to those types of shows, film analysis and whatnot. So that was one of just when I Googled, or not Googled, but did a little search, that you guys popped up. So yeah, keep it up.
Hey, that's good to know that our SEO is high on Google. So that's good to know. Thanks.
Hey, you got me on there. Now I'm looking for this shit. Go ahead and do your plugs, Alain. Go ahead.
Huh? Oh, I mean, you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, really anywhere. We made sure we're everywhere that you can listen to podcasts. So yeah, I Finally Watched. And I feel like now, Renee, we've done enough movies. I mean, we've done over 150 movies that someone at one point or another can find a movie that they're interested in to listen to us talk about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
yeah. And just like you, there, and for, just speaking from because I'm a moviegoer. I grew up as a moviegoer, and I was deep in film analysis. Particularly when I was younger, I saw all kinds of movies. European movies, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And actually just studied some film analysis in school and wound up doing a little film analysis within my major in college. So I'm really deep into film. I mean, what you guys are doing is like a reaction to it. So when I talked about Psycho, I was a little taken aback a little bit by your reaction to it. Is that, well, there's not enough. And one thing that you said that was so interesting, you said that with Hitchcock, more was going on with the silence than with the speaking parts. Hitchcock is fantastic at doing that. I mean, I would suggest that I don't know how many of his films you've seen, but just get yourself as many Hitchcock films under your belt as you can, and watch how he crafts and uses silence versus his sound, and uses the music and whatnot. The Psycho has that great score by Bernard Herrmann, and that he started that came from him, and so Hitchcock really changed, I think, filmmaking with Psycho. And anyway, but you guys were more into just how you felt about it and whatnot, which is good too. But like you say, I want to say, it's much richer than that. There's a lot more going on there.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, we try to get as much in as possible when we kind of feel like we have one shot at this. So this is a very personal podcast as far as we only do films that one of us has seen or both of us has not seen. And as kind of an homage so we, I was in Barnes and Noble's tonight, and I was looking around in the video, in the DVD section, and I was like, maybe like 2 years ago, I couldn't tell you any of these films, but I'm like starting to I watched that one. I watched that one. I watched that one.
There you go.
So it builds up after a while. And the thing I love about Hitchcock is that he's referenced in so many different ways, so many times throughout the course of cinema, throughout the history of cinema, that if you watch enough Hitchcock films, you start seeing patterns in other filmmakers and other films that are used and invented by him. So yeah, no. Definitely, definitely great.
And those filmmakers are non-apologetic about it. They'll be up front and say, "Yeah, I got this from Hitchcock, or I got this from John Ford, or I got this from Francois Truffaut, or whatever."
100%.
That's what I love about guys like Martin Scorsese and whatnot. They wear their craft on their sleeve and their love of movies on their sleeve. And James Gunn and a lot of these other guys, I think they're the same way. And that's what I like about movies is the crafting of it. And anyway,
I agree. I'm right there with you.
Okay, well, there you go, folks. You heard it. We got all kinds of collaborative conversations going on over here on the Bleeding Edge. We will see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. Alain will not be here, but I'll be here. Renee will be here. I'm sure Jasmine will be.
Next Sunday's Christmas, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, you know what? It is. Well, you know what, folks?
Christmas show?
Oh yeah, I'm doing. Hey, I'm doing.
We'll do something if you want to. I got.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually working. I work. Place I work at part time on the third shift. I'll actually be at work at 11 o'clock at that. But yeah, I'll jump on with you. And it's just me and you, Jeff, if you want to, and we'll talk about BS.
Yeah,
you can go wild. You can just go wild.
We'll see what other assholes we can find that'll jump on with us and whatnot too. It'll be fun. But yeah, no.
Bye, guys.
All right, Alain. We'll see you later, brother. Take care, man.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, we out of here, folks. Take it easy. Peace.
Galaxy.
Yeah. Someone at the door, John, now I'm here to stay. Tell me who the fuck gonna face the music. More bricklaying, that screen time. Been cutting back on the daily usage. Long road for the road dogs, for the weird miles from a soapbox. Got BKTs on this bitch, so everybody getting rolled on, yeah. Yeah, everybody getting rolled on. Check all this credits on BMI. I'm just too kind to expose y'all. And I see a team with a ghost sign and question if y'all ever wrote songs on